Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 1 to 5 of chapter 3. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Jayasi chet karmanaste.
Jayasi chet karmanaste.
Mata buddhir janardana.
Mata buddhir janardana.
Tat kim karmani ghore mam.
Tat kim karmani ghore mam.
Niyojayasi keshava.
Niyojayasi keshava.
Vyamishreneva vakyena.
Vyamishreneva vakyena.
Buddhim mohayasiva me.
Buddhim mohayasiva me.
Tadekam vada nishchitya.
Tadekam vada nishchitya.
Yena shreyohamapnuyam.
Yena shreyohamapnuyam.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Lokesmin dvividha nishtha.
Lokesmin dvividha nishtha.
Pura prokta maya nagha.
Pura prokta maya nagha.
Jnana yogena sankhyanam.
Jnana yogena sankhyanam.
Karma yogena yoginam.
Karma yogena yoginam.
Na karmanam anarambhat.
Na karmanam anarambhat.
Naishkarmyam purushoshnute.
Naishkarmyam purushoshnute.
Nacha sanyasana deva.
Nacha sanyasana deva.
siddhim samadhigacchati
सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति
nahi kaschit kshanamapi
न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि
jatu tishtatya karmakrit
जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत्
karyate hyavashah karma
कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म
sarva prakritijairgunaihi
सर्वः प्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last session, we just started the Karma Yoga, the Yoga of Action, chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, as I told you, before we get into the actual verses, we need to understand a few basic concepts. You know, when we straight away go into each verse, now the verses actually contain so many messages. That is, each verse contains many messages, and when we are using the yogic approach to unravel those deeper sadhana messages, there is always a chance to miss the total picture. In the yogic approach, we take care of the specific messages, that is, we eke out the specific messages from the verses. We also see how these verses convey a message together. That is the total picture. So generally, there is always a tendency either to look at merely the general picture or to go into the verses and forget about what the theme is. So if you see the entire Bhagavad Gita, it contains 701 verses. Now they have all been grouped into chapters. So each chapter, the title of the chapter, is the theme of those verses. Like we had chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the yoga of Arjuna's sorrow, how the human mind can deteriorate. We need to understand the psychology of our own mind. And then chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, contains 72 verses. 72 verses grouped under one theme called the Sankhya Yoga. Now you have 40 and odd verses where he has grouped all of them under this theme of Karma Yoga. So before we go into the individual verses and start opening them up and unraveling the deeper messages, specific messages, we need to have a clear idea of what is the general theme. So when you combine both of these, that is, one is the theme, the central theme, and the other is the focus on the specific messages. When we combine these two, then you can gain the true wisdom of the higher. If we merely stop with the general theme, then it is a very generalized knowledge which you will have. If we merely get involved with the specific messages and miss the overall theme, then there will be no direction. There will be no coherence in your approach. It will not be a structured approach. It will just be an impulsive way of functioning. So the great masters, they gave out this yogic approach wherein they said you should combine both these. So whenever you get too lost in one of these aspects, then the master always brings back the focus. This is very, very important. Before we proceed further, you need to understand this. Why I'm saying that is, in the in the comment section, one sadhak had mentioned that when we completed chapter 2 and when the first verse was again chanted, just to psychologically get into the framework that I've only started, not ended anything, he said when the first verse was chanted, I really didn't even remember what that verse was all about. He said even after reading the translation, he said he had forgotten. That is because the total picture goes away. So you should be careful. In life itself, you should follow this principle. See, you have the overall ultimate goal in your life, which is self-realization or God realization. Then you have specific areas, different areas of your life where you need to play different roles. As a husband, you have a certain role. As a father, you have a certain role. As a wife, you have a certain role. As a child, you have a certain role. So you need to play all the roles to perfection. But at the same time, it should be in the total context, which is moving towards that ultimate goal of self-realization. This is Karma Yoga. This is one of the main aspects of Karma Yoga. Last week I was explaining to you a few points. I was giving the difference between karma and Karma Yoga. Now, this is a very, very important point. Playing your roles in life properly, that is karma. First of all, that itself many people don't do. See, if you're a true sadhak, you should perform your duties properly. All these points which I'm giving you in the introduction are going to be expanded and seen from different angles as we go into the verses, so that you completely absorb these principles. So when you play your roles in life, that is karma. Yes, these are my duties as a husband, these are my duties as a father, these are my duties as a citizen of this country, these are my duties as an employee in this company. Whatever be your various roles, when you play those roles properly, that is karma. But when you do it in order to reach the ultimate goal of self-realization, that is when you combine your ultimate goal with these roles in life, then it becomes Karma Yoga. It is not so easy Actually, it's a very, very deep principle. The mind always tends to slip into one of these extremes. See, first of all, in order to do your duties, that is, in order to play your roles properly in life, you need to overcome your tamas, your laziness. First, you need to get into karma. Then only karma yoga itself is applicable. Now, once you start playing your roles in life, the general tendency of the mind is to get involved with the individual roles, and you forget why you have taken this incarnation, why you have been born, what is your ultimate purpose, why have you taken this human birth. You get completely involved and enmeshed in these various activities. Now, when the masters come and say, listen, your ultimate purpose in life is something else, is to become one with the infinite. So you've been given this opportunity so that you can complete your experiences. You can work out your karmas. Karmas in this context I'm talking about as the various impressions, which you've gathered, so that you can purify yourself. Now, when that is emphasized, there is a tendency for the mind to get involved with the goal to a point of fault, wherein you stop doing your duties. Many people, in the name of spirituality, they don't do their duties properly. As a sadhak, from this moment onwards, you should learn to combine these two. That is your ultimate purpose in life and whatever roles you need to play. When you combine these two, then you become a karma yogi. You will start purifying yourself. You will progress towards your ultimate purpose. So, in the name of spirituality, in the name of enlightenment, or in the name of sadhana, if you are shirking your duties, then you're not a true sadhak. You're just using this philosophy to justify your weaknesses. Now, in the name of doing your duties, if you lose sight of the ultimate goal, again you are not a sadhak. You are using the activities to justify again your weakness. So, as a true sadhak, you should learn to combine these two aspects. The karma, that is the various activities which you need to perform. What are those type of activities, how you need to perform, all those things we'll be seeing in detail. But this basic concept is very, very important. So the karmas, which means your duties, the roles which you need to play in life, and yoga, which is uniting with the infinite, the moving towards the ultimate goal of self-realization. Spirituality is combining these two aspects. If you stress only on one aspect, that is not spirituality. Today people either emphasize on action and they say this is what is spirituality, only on action I mean, or they emphasize only on the goal, the highest goal, and they say I am being spiritual. So come out of these wrong concepts. Here is an opportunity for you to learn to balance your life. See, whatever principle is being given here will help you to balance your life. Otherwise, your life will become imbalanced. You know, in the corporate side, they talk about work-life balance. In the ancient wisdom, it is not about merely balancing your work and personal life. All the areas of your life should be balanced. The worldly activities and your spiritual goal should be balanced. Only then you are living a full life. When there is an extra emphasis on any one aspect, then there is an imbalance. And remember, balance is the key aspect in spirituality. Wherever there is imbalance, you are moving away from spiritual principles. See, someone asked me, sir, in one of the sessions I had mentioned that kindly try and avoid, I wouldn't say try and avoid intoxicants like alcohol, drugs, of course, very dangerous. Alcohol is also very dangerous. It spoils the liver and all that. But that is from a health point of view. From a spiritual point of view, as a sadhak, I had given this message, avoid the intoxicants. Now, why is that? Somebody has asked the question, how is that related to spirituality? Because that is, after all, for the body. It is not merely for the body. See, what happens is, these intoxicants actually numb your brain, numb your senses, and they artificially excite your mind. They take you on a high, and the result of all that is your consciousness actually comes down. When your consciousness comes down, you will lose the balance in life. So when we talk of karma yoga, it is not merely about what actions you should do. When we go into the verses, you will see, he will also be talking about what actions you should avoid. Those activities which are very dangerous to you. He will not be giving you specific examples. He will only be giving you the principles. We'll be taking up those principles and see how we can apply them in our lives. So, what activities should you avoid? What activities you should take up? These constitute these are the factors which constitute the karma. And then how you perform those activities, that constitutes this aspect of yoga, the quality of your actions. How do you approach your life? So anything which causes imbalance in your life is the opposite of karma yoga. We can take it as a thumb rule. So, see, just because a person drinks alcohol doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad person. We are not talking of morality or ethics here. We are only talking of the imbalance which it creates. A person who is an alcoholic cannot do his duties properly in life. How will he be able to perform his roles properly? Slowly, the intoxicant will eat away all the potential which you have. So if you are a sadhak, if you claim that you are doing sadhana, then these three aspects are very, very important. You need to incorporate them in your life. What activities you should avoid? They're called prohibited activities. That is, those activities which can harm you straight away, and activities which you ought to do, and then how you are doing them. Even though we have not gone into the specific messages in depth, which we'll be doing when we go to the verses, I am giving you a kind of an introduction to all these principles so that your thinking process starts. See, when you start absorbing these principles, you will automatically start thinking, and then when the actual messages come, they will mean so much to you. It will be very easy for you to go into the depth. When you're totally unprepared, then you will have to put in more effort. So, action by action, how do you evolve? Experience by experience, how do you purify yourself and get connected with the infinite? That is Karma Yoga. In the last session's meditation, I had invoked the Guru Shakti again, because the entire period is the Guru Purnima time, The Guru Shakti, we need to invoke the Guru Shakti. We need to take the blessings of the higher in order to master this sacred sadhana of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is about bringing sanctity to each and every action which you perform. In a generalized way, it is easy to say work is worship. But what does it really mean? Work is worship means bringing the divine touch into each and every activity of yours. When you master Karma Yoga 100%, you are a Sthita Prajna. You're an enlightened soul. So when you're in the process of mastering, that it becomes the path. When you master it, it becomes the goal. Karma Yoga is a path, it is also the goal. Yoga itself is actually the path and the goal. Trying to unite with the infinite is yoga. And then when you unite with the infinite, when you become one with the infinite, you are in the auto mode. You are in an eternal state of yoga. That is the goal. It is the path and the goal. So when we are studying this chapter, we are not talking of some abstract concepts, but we are going to study ourselves. A threadbare analysis and understanding is going to be made of these verses in the context of understanding ourselves and bettering our lives. And when I say bettering our lives, we are talking of each and every experience which we go through. It is an all-round development which we are aiming at, not partial development, not imbalanced, lopsided development. Now, before we go into the verses, there is one more point which you need to know, and that is another facet of karma, which is destiny. Karma also means destiny. It's commonly used by many people without even knowing what it means in depth. People use this word karma in different contexts, It is very interesting. So, another facet of karma is that it means destiny. Whatever you are facing in your life today, that is your destiny. Whatever situation you are put in today, that is your destiny. So, Karma Yoga is about mastering your destiny. When we use the word destiny, the general understanding is your whole life is predestined. It is determined by some outside force. Some people say your destiny is determined by God. Some people say the planets write your destiny. The planetary positions determine your destiny in life. Now, in this chapter, he is going to give you the real truth about what destiny is. No outside force actually creates your destiny. You are the creator of your destiny. You are the architect of your life. This is called the law of karma. The karma niyati. What is this law of karma based on? It is based on the cause and effect relationship. In the last session, I had explained the karma in terms of action-reaction. The other facet is the cause and effect. So in life, everything is a cause and it creates an effect. If you sow a seed, that is a cause, and that seed will become a tree, which is the effect. Again, the tree will give seeds, and those seeds are the causes. Those seeds again will become trees. It is the cause and effect chain which is ruling the entire world. Every action which you execute is a cause. It will have a particular effect. And when you experience the effect, the same effect also becomes the cause for future actions. How you handle the effect. And when we talk of actions, we are talking of physical actions, external actions, we are talking of the speech. Every word which you utter has an effect. The emotions which you generate, the thoughts which you entertain, everything has an effect. And your own actions, your speech, your emotions, your thoughts, they all put together, they actually create your destiny. You are creating your destiny through your actions. So when we say actions, we are meaning all these. Every time you react negatively to an incident, you are actually creating a particular destiny. You're writing your destiny. No God sitting in the heavens is responsible for your destiny. No planets is responsible for your destiny. They are all only symptoms, Just as when you cough, the root cause may be tuberculosis, or it may be your lung infection. So the root cause is what is important. Cough is only a symptom. Similarly, whatever is given in astrology about the position of the planets, they are only symptomatic. The root cause is the karma, the law of karma. So the solution is not to be sought externally. The solution is in mastering this law of karma. That is what karma yoga is all about. When you read the whole of the Bhagavad Gita, one message stands out, and that is the message which Krishna gives not only to Arjuna, to the entire humanity. That is, you have the power to create your life. Unfortunately, due to wrong information, wrong knowledge, wrong belief systems. You feel you are weak. You feel you are powerless. You become a victim in this cause and effect cycle, and that keeps going on. But when you gain this wisdom of Karma Yoga, now you rise above this cause and effect cycle. You get that clarity. Thereafter, you will stop blaming others for your failure. You will stop complaining in life. You will understand that you have all the power to change your destiny for the better. Your own past actions determine your present state in life, and your present actions are going to determine your future. So if you want to know what your future is, just look into your present actions. Ensure that your present actions are perfect, then you can be assured about your future. That is why when they asked me for a title, when they wanted to create the material to create some awareness that chapter 3 is going to start, they asked me for a title, and I told them, put this, learn the secrets of perfect action. Because when you learn the secrets of perfect action when? Not in the past, not in the future, right now in the present. You can act only in the present. You cannot act in the past. You cannot act in the future. So when you learn the secrets of perfect action, which is what Karma Yoga is all about, then you become a master of your destiny. And by learning to master your destiny, you become a master of your own life. So Karma Yoga makes you all powerful. You have infinite powers within you. They are all dormant today because you have never learnt these principles. In the good old days, these great truths were taught right from the young age, along with the worldly education. This great wisdom was given. The spiritual wisdom is not pertaining to any particular religion. It is not pertaining to any particular country or community or caste or creed or religion. It is pertaining to your life. Wherever you are, whatever be your field of activity, whether you're a doctor or engineer or a lawyer or an artist or whatever it is that you're a business person, you're a homemaker, all these things do not matter. What matters is what are you doing right now in the present moment, your present activities, how are you performing them? In that lies the secret of your life. Instead of mastering that, you're frittering away all your energies in the past and in the future. When we actually come to the technical details of Karma Yoga, a group of verses, he'll be covering that. We will be seeing this in detail. How you fritter away your energies, So Karma Yoga actually makes you very, very focused. Wherever there is focus, it gathers a lot of power. So you become a powerful personality, a towering personality. It builds a very strong aura. A person who is a Karma Yogi, his or her aura means the energy field, which you generate. Your aura becomes very, very strong and positive. So when you become a sadhak, now you should no longer believe in the deterministic philosophy of life. Everything is predestined. What to do? Supposing somebody were to come and rob your money and he just runs away. If you're just sitting there and saying, it is all my karma, it is predestined, that is not karma yoga. However, now what are you going to do about it? This is what Krishna is trying to teach Arjuna. See, his Pandavas were so skillful people, they were very powerful and all that. But they didn't understand the law of karma properly. Duryodhana and Shakuni were cheating them completely. And they were just taking everything passively, saying it is all our karmas. Yogishri always used to say, it is all our karmas. We need to accept this because this is what God has given to us. It is all predestined. Then Krishna came into their lives and he explained to them, no outside factor is responsible for your life. You have to take charge of your life. That is why the great thinker said, God helps those who help themselves. It's a very powerful statement. That supreme God principle is universal. The grace of God, divinity, is universal. It's meant for everyone. Now, how you receive the grace and what you do about it, that all depends on you only. So, when we master the principles of Karma Yoga, you learn to tap the divine grace, the infinite grace into your life, and you learn to use that divine grace, the higher energy, the Shakti, to maximize the positive results in your life, both from the worldly sense and from the point of view of spiritual growth. So the law of karma is not a deterministic principle. It actually teaches you how to take charge of your life. By taking care of your present activities, it helps you to build a glorious future. So these are all a few aspects or the differences between karma and karma yoga. Now, the rest, as we go along, we'll keep seeing. That way, it's just if you take just the differences between karma and karma yoga, that can go. That's a very long list. It can go on and on. So as we go into the verses, all those facets will be revealed to you. Now I'll also give you the structure of this chapter, and then we'll go to the verses. Because see, when a master gives out this wisdom, he has a particular structure. It's always well structured. A master has this combination of being very well organized, structured, and at the same time being spontaneous also. It is a strange combination, and that is what a master has. You will find a master very spontaneous, but at the same time very logical and organized also. It may look as if he is not prepared when he is talking, but there will be a beautiful flow. So what is the flow of this chapter, Karma Yoga? So in the first few verses, actually in the very first verse which we'll be starting today, Arjuna asks the question in the first couple of verses. When we come to the question, very interesting question about karma, about action is asked by Arjuna. And then Krishna, in the first few verses, he introduces this concept of karma and karma yoga. He gives a kind of a feeler. This is what is karma, this is what is karma yoga. And then what is interesting is he gives a lot of logic. He does a very good analysis as to why you should act, what is the necessity of action, and how important it is for you to master the karma yoga principles. So all the logic is given. The reason why he starts off by giving logic is because the human mind generally tends to ask reasons. See, when you go and tell a person, do this, immediately that person will look up and ask, why? Why should I do this? That is the difference between a human being and the other creatures. See, it is easy to train animals, but it's very difficult to train a human being. That is why I am never for corporate training. When organizations approach me and ask me to conduct training programs, I say no. Mere training is very difficult. It's not possible. In the ancient wisdom, we don't aim at training individuals. We aim at transforming individuals. The corporate seminars which I conduct are transformative seminars, not mere training seminars. Training is one aspect, but it cannot stop there. So, the human mind has this logical aspect which we call as intellect, and it tends to ask why. So right at the outset, Krishna satisfies the logical mind, the intellect. Various logic he gives. And then he doesn't stop with that. He also provides a lot of inspiration to act in the next few verses. See, it is not enough if you understand the logic of the activity. You need to be inspired in order to act effectively. If the inspiration is missing, if the emotion is taken away, then your actions will become very dry. So on one hand he gives logic, on the other hand he also builds the emotions necessary to act. The emotions actually act as a fuel. See, if you don't have fuel, your car will not run. Similarly, if you don't have emotions, you will not act. It will be like a robo acting. They say that in the future, robots will dominate human beings and all that. It is not possible, because human beings have one thing which no computer can have, that is emotions. The day they find out how to create emotions in a computer, now it's no longer a computer, it's no longer a machine. It becomes a human being. So a machine can never dominate. It is only a human being who can dominate because of these emotions. See, you can teach a robot to smile externally. Do this and all that you can program. But you can't teach a robot to smile and laugh from within. That emotion cannot be taught. So emotions being so important in life, it's important for you to get inspired. If you want to increase the power in your activities, you should act in an inspired way. So several verses are devoted to build that inner inspiration to face life. See, today in the name of spirituality, people talk about giving up life, giving up activity. The general understanding of a spiritual person is one who has given up all actions. They commonly say he has taken up sannyas. Sannyas means renunciation. In this chapter and in the next chapter is Karma Sannyasa Yoga. That's very interesting. Renunciation in action, not renunciation of action. And then you have, but the various chapters are going to go. I'm not getting into the whole sequence now. But the point which he is going to drive is, sannyas is not an external lifestyle. Sannyas means detachment, giving up. And what do you need to give up? You need to give up all the negativities, the negative energy which you've stored. You need to give up your ego. You need to give up all the negative factors which are there within you, the negative thoughts, the negative emotions. And you need to build the positivity by purifying your emotions, by increasing your inspiration in life. A spiritual person is one who will have tremendous energy, inspiration to act in life, to face life. Every experience is, causes so much of a positive reaction in a spiritual person. Like a child, so innocent and so excited in a positive way. Excited but fully under control. To face life. Spirituality is not a philosophy of depression. Oh, give up everything and go away. No way. So Krishna will be making a lot of statements which will build inspiration from within. And only after that he gets into the actual technical details of what is Karma Yoga, how do you convert karma into Karma Yoga, all that he will be giving. But the preparation which is made is very extensive, and in the process of preparation itself you will start mastering the deeper principles. It's an amazing exposition. And he doesn't leave with mere principles of Karma Yoga. After that, he also talks about the obstacles. Okay, you learn all the principles and now let me go and practice it in my life. What are the kind of obstacles you are bound to face? And after the obstacles, he also gives us solutions. See, any master is always solution oriented. The negative mind tends to keep on talking about the problem, but a positive mind seeks solutions. So if you go to a master, he will try to change the focus of your mind from your problem to the solution, but the mind wants to go back to the problem. It's very interesting. So just by following this structure, the tendency of your mind itself will change. From being problem oriented, you will become solution oriented. That is why I always say, in this yogic approach, you should learn to flow with the energy. You should go with the flow. The flow which the master has set. The entire chapter 3 has such a beautiful flow, and we are going to go with the flow, with that energy. That is when you can absorb maximum. There is no point in hurrying through all this. At every step, so many principles are going to be given. You go on absorbing them. And by the time we go to the solutions, actually you would have become very positive. It will be so easy for you to practice them. Okay? So with this, now we will enter into the verses. We will do verse number 1. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Jayasi chet karmanaste
Jayasi chet karmanaste
Mata buddhir janardana
Mata buddhir janardana
Tat kim karmani ghore mam
Tat kim karmani ghore mam
Niyojayasi keshava
Niyojayasi keshava.
Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna said, Jayasi chet karmanaste Mata buddhir janardana. Mata means opinion. If you consider, if your opinion is Jayasi karmanaha buddhihi, if you consider knowledge as superior to action, buddhihi means intellect, knowledge. If you think that knowledge is superior to action, O Janardana, Janardana is another name of Lord Krishna. It means protector of people. Tat kim karmani ghore mam Niyojayasi Keshava. Oh, Keshava, again another name of Krishna. So whenever two names come, then there is a deeper significance. We'll see that. But first, I'm just translating. So if you consider knowledge to be superior to action, O Janardana, Tat kim karmani ghore mam. Ghora karma means terrible action. Why are you then asking me to perform? Niyojayasi means engage yourself, So why do you engage me in this terrible action? Karmani ghore. Ghora karma means terrible action of the lowest quality. Frightful action. O Keshava. Now, this is a very interesting question. This is actually a practical question which everyone has. When knowledge is superior to action, then why should we act? Shouldn't we sit and keep gaining knowledge? Isn't that enough? And the most interesting part is, Arjuna puts it on Krishna. He says, if you consider Jayasi chet, chet means if, because all along Krishna was expounding the Sankhya Yoga. So Arjuna thought Sankhya Yoga, which is the highest knowledge, highest wisdom. So now Arjuna thinks that Krishna is saying knowledge is superior to action. Actually, the most interesting part is Krishna has already given the answer to this in the second chapter. He clearly says the practical application of Sankhya Yoga in your life is called Karma Yoga, and he does. He did give a few principles on the practical application in the second chapter itself. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have the right to perform action. Don't fritter away your energies on the fruit of action. So many principles he did give. Yet Arjuna has not got the message. See, what this shows is the mind is so complex, it is so caught up with the problems of life, that when the solution is given, it is unable to understand it at one go. the repetition of the principles in different ways actually help the mind to absorb this wisdom. It's interesting, in this chapter he is asking this question. Krishna gives a whole answer. The entire chapter is an answer to this question. In the next chapter again Arjuna asks the same question in a different way. That's what I'm saying. The negative mind tends to be problem oriented. That is represented by Arjuna. See, Arjuna represents a common person, a person that is the individual soul who is caught up with the problems of life, is completely incapacitated to act. Mind was highly stressed. This is the common scenario of any individual. Now, when the mind is caught up with a problem, it is unable to lift itself. That is so beautifully symbolized by Arjuna asking the same question in different ways. And the beauty is, Krishna never loses his patience. He doesn't say, I told you earlier, you are not able to understand. He doesn't get worked up about that. See, that is another interesting facet of a teacher. A teacher has infinite patience, a true master I'm talking of. When I say here teacher, I mean a spiritual master. A true spiritual master has infinite patience. Sometimes he may be stern, he may talk or act in a stern way to break certain very deep-rooted blocks in a student's mind. That is different. But a true master will have infinite patience. Why? Because he understands the psychology of the mind. The untrained mind keeps on getting attracted to the problem. You gain so much of false happiness, false security by merely talking about your problems, getting that self-pity, getting pity from others. You tend to exaggerate your problems. Supposing you have a small pain, normally you will be walking, but when somebody sees you, immediately you will walk with extra emphasis on the pain, you will do something like that. I have seen many people do like that. Why? What is prompting you to do that? It is the mind, the untrained mind. The untrained mind gravitates towards the negative. The mind which is trained in the spiritual principles, the mind of a person who has done sadhana starts gravitating towards the positive, the solutions. So Krishna understands the state of Arjuna. Just because Arjuna has surrendered, has started the process of surrender, he says, I am your disciple, you are my guru, now teach me. That doesn't mean he is ready to absorb the wisdom which Krishna is giving 100%. So it is in a way good for us that Arjuna is in a state of confusion, because the more questions he keeps asking, Krishna gives out this ancient wisdom from different angles, and we benefit from that. So you need to understand the psychology of your own mind. Before even we get into the actual verse, the first thing is Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna said, his focus is on the confusion. See, he is very confused. His understanding itself is wrong. And this question will be continued in the next verse also. So we'll be when we study both the verses, you will understand so much about your own mind, how it tends to misinterpret. Even when there was a great master in front of him, the avatar of Lord Narayana, he was Lord Krishna, and who was giving him the wisdom, yet Arjuna has his own way of misunderstanding things. Actually, in the next verse, he'll be saying, you're confusing me. You seem to contradict yourself and you're causing a lot of confusion in me. Why do you have to confuse me, Why don't you tell one thing? Tadekam vada nischitya. It will be coming in next verse. One thing which I can practice easily. Why are you complicating things? Imagine a great Krishna is standing there and Arjuna is telling him you are complicating things, without understanding that it is his mind which is complicating things. Krishna's philosophy is very, very simple. He says you're seeing unrighteousness, the Kauravas are being unrighteous. You as a warrior, you have a duty in this war. Just get up and fight. Do your duty. That's all. Krishna was a very simple person. Any master will be very simple, straightforward, simplicity in thinking, simplicity in action. It is the untrained negative mind which complicates things. So not only does Arjuna complicate the whole thing, but he tends to project his weakness onto Krishna, and he is almost blaming Krishna. He says, you are only confusing. These are all the weaknesses of the mind. When we face some problems in life, we tend to blame others. It is your mind which is creating all the problems in your life. And when you gain mastery over your mind, you will simplify your life. You will lead a simple, straightforward, complete life. It is in your hands only. As I told you, your destiny is in your hands. You have the power to create your life. So Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna said, if you consider knowledge superior to action, O Janardana, then why do you engage me in this terrible action, O Keshava? He has already concluded that this action is terrible. Ghora karma is this. Why? Because he is only seeing the external aspects of the action. He is only seeing the killing part, and he is saying this action is terrible. But what is behind that? The motive behind this, that is to resurrect righteousness. He is unable to understand that. It's like, a doctor says the operation has to be performed. Let us say some tumor has developed and he says now that has to be removed to save the rest of the body. Now, supposing the patient asks, why are you engaging in this Ghora karma? Because if you take it externally, cutting the part and removing the tumor, this is a terrible action. It looks as if the harm is being done to the other person. So when you don't understand the motive behind, the motive is to save the rest of the body so that it doesn't spread. So when the motive is not understood, when it is not seen in depth, then this question comes. That is what Arjuna is asking. Why do you engage me in this terrible action? This question actually reflects the superficiality of Arjuna's mind, the lack of depth. As he gains this wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, he starts gaining depth in his perception, depth in his understanding. That's what will happen to every sadhak. When you keep on doing your sadhana, when you just keep attending these sessions every Sunday, And then when you do your daily sadhana, slowly your depth will start increasing. Initially, your questions will be very superficial. Your approach in life itself will be very superficial and artificial. But as you progress in your sadhana, you will become very, very deep. So Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna said. So Krishna was talking for so long, and now Arjuna intercepts him with a question. This is very significant. See, Krishna gave out the whole of Sankhya Yoga, which is the very principle of spirituality. As I told you, there are no different paths as people think. There is only one path, which is which was called Sankhya Yoga by the ancient masters, which is the principle of expanding your consciousness, lifting your consciousness. When you uplift your consciousness and expand it, that is called yoga. That is a spiritual path. There is only one path. Now, how do you uplift your consciousness? How do you expand your consciousness? Different ways. It may be through actions, karma yoga, it may be through emotions, bhakti yoga, through knowledge, jnana yoga. So different ways are there to uplift one's consciousness. But the path is only one. But Arjuna does not understand that. So Krishna had given the complete principles, the higher principles of spirituality. Now Arjuna is asking about the application of spirituality. He is asking now, should I sit and keep studying those principles, or should I apply them in my life? It is very absurd. The question itself is very absurd, because both are actually important. Krishna never said knowledge is superior to action or action is inferior. All these things he never said. He only said you have to gain the highest knowledge and you need to apply that knowledge in your life. Since he was emphasizing a little more on the knowledge, now Arjuna is thinking Krishna considers that as superior. Now, what is very interesting is when he talks about karma yoga, which is the application of this ancient wisdom in one's life, he starts off with Krishna doesn't start off on his own. He waits for Arjuna to ask the question, and then only he gives his advice, he gives his wisdom. What is the principle which we can derive as sadhaks? The principle is, advice is never given. Advice is always taken. The student seeks, and only then the guru will give the wisdom. If the student does not seek, the guru will never give this wisdom, especially when it comes to personal advice. A guru never ever gives personal advice unless the student truthfully seeks. When I am saying seeking, it is not merely verbally asking. Unless and until a student wants to learn sincerely and change, the guru will not give advice. Because when advice is given forcefully, it is never effective. It will not be followed by the student. Whereas when the student wants to learn and when the student wants to get transformed, he or she wants to change the quality of his own mind, rectify his mistakes and move forward in life, when that willingness is there and when he seeks, then the guru, the master, showers him with all the necessary, the highest wisdom, and also the practical application of that wisdom, which is the personal advice. Everything is given. It is not that the master does not want to give. The question is, does the student want to take? See, whenever a student approaches a master, there are different reasons why people approach a master. Some people go and ask a question to a master just to test whether the master knows or not. See, the person already has an answer. He has come to a conclusion. Simply to test whether the master knows or not, they ask. Such people will never get the true wisdom from a master. See, true master is like the ocean. He's got so much. But he never throws his weight on anyone. He never gives unsolicited advice. Actually, a master is one who is very quiet. He watches this drama of life. And in this drama of life, if somebody very sincerely comes and seeks, to him or her, he gives his advice. You have to literally pull the advice from a master. That effort a student has to put. That is why it is said, seek, it shall be given unto you. And in the Bible it is said, no, everything in life you will have to seek. The same message was given in the Upanishads also. How to get that highest experience, how to find God, is one who verily seeks God shall find God. It is there in the Upanishads. Every master in different parts of the world, they gave out these same truths in different ways. So the more you seek, the more wisdom you can gain. So if you want to master the principles of Karma Yoga, first you should become a perfect student. You should start that process. See, what prevents you from gaining this wisdom is the ego. The ego does not want you to learn. The ego does not want you to change. The ego tries to convince you that everything is okay. Whatever I am doing is perfect. This is what the ego keeps telling you. Now you need to conquer it. True surrender can happen only when you remove the ego. You don't need to become a slave. See, as I told you in the Guru Purnima session, surrender doesn't mean stopping all your thinking. Actually, when you surrender, you will ask relevant questions. Wherever you are unable to understand, of course you will ask questions. The fact that the Bhagavad Gita is in the form of a question and answer session shows that the master doesn't stifle questions in a student. Our ancient approach was never to stifle the questioning spirit. The more you question, you're maintaining a scientific temperament that is always encouraged in spirituality. But the questioning should not be merely for questioning's sake. Some people just ask a question mechanically without having the depth. Or as I told you, in order to test the master or to challenge a master to get into an argument. When the motive is all this, then the master will keep quiet. He is not going to waste his time and energy on all these superficialities. But to that person who is seeking sincerely, he will transfer all the wisdom. So Arjuna Uvacha is very, very significant. Every now and then Arjuna keeps asking questions. Means he is seeking genuinely. That is what the master is trying to convey here by Arjuna, in the form of Arjuna's questions. So you should also start seeking solutions in life. You should be willing to learn and change. The Guru Shakti is always trying to guide you. And as I told you, Guru Shakti is not restricted to the form of a person who may be your Guru. The Guru Shakti is present everywhere in life. The entire life is trying to teach you, but your ego is refusing to learn. So, from these words, Arjuna Uvacha, what is it that we learn? We have to start getting into the spirit of seeking. We have to be willing to learn and transform ourselves. If some mistakes are pointed out, if you find that you're making a mistake, you should have that willingness to correct. That is the hallmark of a good student. A yogi is one who will have no ego. If he makes a mistake, he'll say sorry, he'll learn from that and he'll change. But the ego doesn't allow you to do that. So Arjuna Uvacha. So when he says Arjuna Uvacha, he's not asking because he's bored or he doesn't have anything else to do. So simply let me ask some question. It is not all that. He is seeking genuinely. He may be confused. He may be in a state of confusion. He may have his limitations, all that. Still, Arjuna is seeking truly from his heart. And that is why Krishna is spending so much of time in trying to make Arjuna absorb this wisdom. In different ways Krishna approaches, seeing the sincerity of Arjuna. So Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna said, means the what is being emphasized here is the seeking of the seeking spirit of the sadhak. So as a sadhak, start developing that spirit. Become very, very humble. Not false humility. I got one mail some time back. That person, he had said, "Oh, infinite in the form of my Guru, this is my humble pranams from the infinite in the form of a student. Oh, Supreme," something and all he had written. Now that itself is ego. The ego is being camouflaged by these words, A person who does not have ego will seek in a very simple way. Why all this drama? This is a message to the person who has sent that mail, If you want to ask something, ask in a simple way, Humility shouldn't be a false humility. You should remember that. Then only you can become a true sadhak and you can gain this wisdom. So Arjuna Uvacha, instead of the word Arjuna Uvacha, now put your name there. You are seeking. Build that seeking attitude as a student. The more you build that, the more you seek, the more will be your capacity to absorb in the coming weeks. Because so much of wisdom is going to be given. Now, but can you absorb all that? That is the question. How do you fine-tune yourself? Arjuna Uvacha. Just by absorbing that energy of these two words, Arjuna Uvacha, you can become a perfect student. Nitya Shishya, eternal student, as Bhagavan Dattatreya said, See how powerful the energy of just these words, Arjuna Uvacha, that speaks so much. That's why the yogic approach is so powerful. Okay, so we'll stop with that today. Think about these points. Every step is going to be so enjoyable. This journey, that is the path itself is so enjoyable, and then the goal is going to be the ultimate enjoyment, the ultimate bliss of self-realization. That is the beauty of this yogic approach. Okay, so now we'll do the Nididhyasana meditation. where I will be installing all these principles in the deeper layers of your mind so that it will become easy for you to practice them. So sit in a comfortable position. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. Expand yourself fully when you're breathing in and contract yourself fully when you're breathing out. Feel your entire personality becoming divine. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. The ultimate purpose of my life is to become one with the infinite. From this moment onwards, I choose to play all my roles to perfection and do all my duties I bow down to the higher energy and the Guru Shakti and invoke the divine blessings to be able to master the principles of Karma Yoga. I choose to seek the positive in every area of my life. I am a Nitya Shishya, an eternal student who is willing to learn and change. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. To master the principles of Karma Yoga, you need to absorb this energy of this phrase, Arjuna Uvacha. You should become Arjuna. See, both Arjuna and Krishna are within you only. So when you increase the Arjuna aspect in you, you become more prepared to receive the wisdom from the higher. If you want to keep your ego and gain this wisdom, it is not possible. Those two don't go together. So to pass and do all these verses very fast and give you a few principles here and there, that is very easy. But in the yogic approach, we are going to go in a very deep way so that you pause and absorb the principles and start applying them in each and every experience of your life, so that your whole life, gets transformed. Okay? So we'll continue next week. Thank you very much. Hari Om.